My name is Latanya, and I'm the founder of The Self Inside. The Self Inside is a space for Black women to heal from intergenerational trauma. I thank y'all for clicking play and hitting this video. This is the first video of a three-part series where I get interviewed by three of my friends, so you guys can see my healing journey across three different times in my life. And so the first video is from third grade up into high school, by my friend.
I'm Crystal. This is my bestie. Me and Tanya have known each other forever. And so I was really excited and honored that she asked me to be a part of this series. And so I was told to come up with some questions about love, family, and friendship. And so as you can see, I'm an overachiever, so I got a lot of questions for her. So it's about to get deep.
All right, y'all. I'm scared, but it's okay.
It's all good.
Okay. So we're gonna start with family.
Family.
Okay.
All right. So when you think of the word family, just hearing the word, what comes to mind?
When I think of the word family and during that time frame, I think the first thought that comes up is our house, the apartment that we stayed in on the north side of Chicago, because I'm originally from the north side.
Okay.
That's the first thing that comes up.
Any reason why that comes up?
I think that's just where my memories start. You know, like, because I had to be around 4 or 5 in this apartment, but that's literally where my memories start. And I think the very first memory of that apartment was a trauma. That's the only, I can't really remember too much before it. I can just remember that apartment, I'm in the kitchen. That's it.
Okay. Do you want to talk about the trauma attached to that memory?
So, one of it is not really a trauma. I just remember when Biggie got shot. I heard it on the radio.
Really?
I remember.
Core memory. Wow.
Yeah. So I can literally remember when Biggie got shot. They said it on, I believe it was WGCI. They said it on the radio. We were sitting in the kitchen. My sister was like, "Oh my God, Biggie died." She don't sound like that, y'all. But she was like, it's like, "Oh my God, Biggie died."
I was the only one that did that. So, like, do y'all talk in other people's voices, like when you, or like change your voice when you're talking about speaking for someone else, or like telling a story?
All the time. But what I don't appreciate, and if my clients is watching this, you know who I'm talking about. I don't appreciate when they make my voice sound a certain way. I'm like, so I sound like that? And that's okay, because I make my husband sound like somebody's drunk uncle. Anyway.
So back to your memory. You remember Biggie getting shot?
Yes,
your sister was like, "Oh my God.
Oh my God, Biggie did." And then...
It's not funny. That's just not funny.
It is not. Rest in peace, Biggie. And then the other memory is, again, in this kitchen, but that's when my dad left. He's supposed to go to work. And then didn't come back. So yeah. So that when I think about it, like, that is, like, with him leaving, that's when my memory starts.
You know, you always hear about those type of storylines in movies, but I never actually thought that wow. You never told me about that.
But that, I ain't gonna say good person. So it's like, it's from my perception. So my family, anybody else could probably get on him like, that ain't what happened. But in my kid brain, he was going to work. He said he was gonna come back. Shorty never came back.
Oh. Yeah. All right. Okay. So
that's what I think about when I have family.
Okay. Next question. How would you describe your relationship with your family when we were growing up?
Different parts. So, like, because me and my sisters we're different ages, so we're separated by like 7 to 10 years apart, and it's 3 of us. We saw 3 different. We was 3 different generations, and so by the time my memory kicked in, my oldest sister was on her way out the door because she was like in her 20s, first child. She had my niece. She was on her way out the door. So our relationship was cool, but she was trying to get the hell out the house. And then me and my second sister, like, we were fine. A lot of people always stay with my family. So different people from our family live with us all the time. My mom was like the house that everybody would come to. So our house was always full. So there's always something going on.
So how did that make you feel growing up? Was it like happy times? Did you like having everyone over all the time or living with you all?
Sometimes. You know, if somebody started drinking and drinking got real, you know, it kind of looks like those cartoons when they had the dust clouds of fights. That's what they would look like. They would get overly drunk and then they would fight. And so my little self would just go in the room. Either I hear it and get scared and just stay in the room, or anywhere go, I would stay in the room. So I'm going out there. They crazy. So yeah, so it was, yeah.
So you would say your first experience with trauma was very young?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Bring that buddy.
So, and this, you know, you might have touched on this already, but this next question says, it's actually a 3-part question.
Okay.
So the first part is, how would you describe your childhood?
It was good and that's a word.
Okay, so elaborate on the
So, it's okay if I start with the good and then I mix it in with the
Yeah, go ahead.
Excuse me. So, we always, like, my mom was good at, like, taking us places. So we went to the zoo. We went to the Ice Capade, which feels like that's still not the name, but I'm gonna say yeah. When they do ice game,
okay.
I've always said it wrong. It's okay. Disney
on
Ice.
Not important.
Disney on Ice.
Right.
So we did a whole bunch of stuff. So that was the good thing. Like, she was big on celebrating. My family is big on celebrating holidays, so we would always do. Yeah, like everybody came to my mama's house. So it was like every Thanksgiving is at our house. We did just all of the holiday stuff. So we had the colorful socks, the Christmas trees, the pajamas. So we did all of that. Or the not so good part is when the substances kicked in. And so I think after my dad left, my mom ended up getting a boyfriend, and then it was just like things just kind of unfolded. So she made different choices that didn't involve us. It was choosing herself, her boyfriend, and so that's when things got real. And with substances comes, that's when money go. And so there was points where we got kicked out of our house, where like literally I would see my stuff on the street coming from, school or coming from outside, and our stuff was on the street. That happened 2 or 3 times. We had to live with different people. And this was at various times. So there's times where I had to live on the south side with my sister. There was times where I had to live with my other sister on the north side. There was times I had to live with my auntie. There was times where we lived with our boyfriend, child.
Whoa. That's something different to unpack.
My mama boyfriend, we had to live with his mama in like this little bitty apartment. So it was like different times when we had to live with different people just because substances was chosen.
Okay. How did that make you feel?
During that time?
Mm-hmm.
I think as an adult, like my adult brain is like, oh, like this is how you felt. But I think as a kid, I just had to lie. Okay. So couldn't nobody know. So I just, like, oh, okay. I can remember this one time that I think the first time we got kicked out, because my cat, I had a cat, I love cats. My cat was just, we had nowhere to put him, right? We had to let him go in the street. But he stayed around our apartment. So, like, we used to, like, my mom was, like, going somewhere, going to see somebody on our block because, all her friends was on the block. I would still see my cat. So, I still rub him and all of that. But then, this last time I seen my cat, I guess some kids had beat him to death. And so, I literally watched him deteriorate in front of my mama boyfriend in my house.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Poor kitty.
Yeah, poor kitty.
Okay, so thinking more about your childhood, this was that second part of the question.
Mm-hmm.
Did you feel loved and safe?
No.
Why not?
If I was safe, I would have not lied. I wouldn't have lied as much. You said I felt loved and safe. I don't think so. I think and still today, like, my thoughts of love is distorted a little bit. So, like, my family didn't really say I love you. And if somebody did say I love you, they was drunk or high. So, back then I was irritated. Like, and this is like middle school. So I'm like, at this point I'm like fucking irritated. So I'm like, look, okay, whatever, bro. Like, get out my room. So I can eat. Just get out my room.
So like the emotional drunks.
Yeah.
Okay.
like, I love you, and then you touch your arm. No, you can't get on your arm. So I think it was a little distorted. Because nobody really honestly said I love you. It was kind of, thug love. Like, I did this for you, so that's how you know I love you. She never said that, but like.
So it was shown through actions, not necessarily expressed with words.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And do you feel like you needed those words growing up? Or I guess what I'm asking is, do you feel like you would have felt differently had love been expressed openly when you were a child?
Yeah, I would have been such a thug. I'm a thug.
A bougie thug. You gotta own it. You are who you are, and there's no shame in that.
But I'm also not about that life because you will not catch me.
We know activities, because I got a story, but y'all, can I tell the story? We were sitting on the front steps of my old apartment building, and somebody.
But I'm not hood, so whatever.
Somebody was shooting like fireworks, Roman candles or something.
They sound like guns.
And I jump up and I look in the direction. I'm like, you hear that? I turn around. She gone. I called her house. She went home. Like, you ran. You left me on the stoop and went home. And I'm talking about she hauled ass, y'all, because she was there. Because this is when, before cell phones, everyone still had house phones. And I was looking for her, and I called her, and I was like, She was like, girl, I thought they would shoot.
It sounds like a gun.
But it's all love. I love you so much. But that story is hilarious.
That same thing is what made me leave my mama. Because somebody ran over a pop can, and I left her. And she turned around, and I was gone. Moral of the story is, every man for himself with his violence.
So last question of that 3-part question.
Yeah.
Did you trust your family then? Did you trust them?
Did I trust them?
Mm-hmm.
I think I did. I mean, as much as a kid could. Like, you kind of have no choice but to trust them. But again, it probably was real distorted of what trust meant, because broken promises happen all the time. Instability. So when we talk about like our chakras and all of that, root chakra, that's what is that is like, it gets. Here I go with these juices, like the story I told you. I got another word. like your root chakra, like that is like, I want to say formed for the lack of better words, but like your stability, so money, home stability, all those basic needs.
Feeling like grounded.
Yep, all those basic needs, safe, financially stable, like you got food, water, all of that is your root chakra.
Mm-hmm.
At some point I was missing all that shit, like nowhere to stay. I don't want to say we had food, but like no lights, no gas, no, like it was moments where my root chakra was hit hard, and it shows. Yeah, so I mean, like, as much as I could, I think as a kid I didn't have no choice but to. I had to rely on them because I was a kid. Yeah, I had no choice.
Okay. So you talked about moving around a lot when you were growing up. Can you tell me more about that, and like, what did that experience feel like?
I think I constantly felt like a burden whoever I stayed with, and it wasn't their intention. But my mom wasn't there, so either, I don't know. Like I stayed with my sister outside. My mom wasn't there. I stayed out there for a few months, but it was my sister's family. So it just felt like I didn't belong. Like, she offered for me to stay, but I was like, I'm staying in the bed with my nieces and my sister and her husband. Like, I don't belong here. So I chose to come back, come north. Then in high school, I had to live with my aunt. So I like slept on her couch, and because again, my brain likes to take me away. So this one thing that I used to do in the morning, get ready for school, was I forgot the name of this Beyonce song, but it was Beyonce. The video was Beyonce and Usher. They was dancing in this video.
Love in this Club?
No, it's another song. Oh my goodness! And I used to do the moves. It's Beyonce. Usher didn't sing. He was just in the video with her, and he was dancing.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, besides that, that nice little moment with me and Beyonce every morning. I felt like a burden in my auntie house. There was moments where she definitely, I think she like talked about my mom, and it was like I needed to. It's still going. Like she talked about my mom, and it's just like I had to stand up for my mom, or like we had to put our names on. It was just like everywhere I went, I felt like I was a burden on people because I didn't belong there.
Okay. Sorry, give me a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you talked about, and this was a conversation we had yesterday. You talked about visiting the neighborhood where you grew up. Can you tell me more about that experience, and did it bring up any difficult memories?
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, once we moved and or got kicked out of the apartment, we go back. Like, we stayed in the neighborhood, but I wouldn't go back. So, some of those, this was maybe like 2 months ago. I went back and like went and drove in the order that we lived in. And it brought up a bunch of a lot of stuff I didn't remember because again, my brain is really good at shutting stuff out. But I got rushed with all types of memories of like the last time or like what this house looked like or what happened.
Do you want to elaborate on any memory in particular? And only if you feel comfortable sharing, of course.
So I told you about the first apartment we lived in. The memory that comes up is my dad leaving, me slamming the door in my mama boyfriend face because I ain't like him apparently. Slamming the door in his face. Me being in a room that was sort of empty. I think it was a bed in there before my auntie started living there, but I was in the room just playing with my cat. I did a lot of playing by myself. I was by myself a lot. So that's from that apartment. And then the second one I remembered, I have more memories of like me, you, and our other friend, me, you, and him. I think I had more memories of us walking around, so I could like as I was driving around, I would see us like walking around your building. So like I said hi to Granny. I went past that and said hi to Granny and wanted a piece of chocolate cake immediately. Like it was so weird, like the way the body and things like memories stay in your body. Because I immediately thought about her chocolate cake. And I was like, dang, I want some cake. So I thought about having cake or us just like sitting in front of the house. I thought about the second apartment. My sister ended up staying with us there, and I remember us sitting on the balcony, and it was so bad. We were just sitting on the balcony laughing at people, and just we were just talking and laughing, and this man fell on his bike, but it was the worst fall I had ever seen.
Oh no!
And we laughed so loud. I'm pretty sure he wanted to take us out. It was so bad. We had to like run in the house, but it was bad. It was not nice. But I remember like that memory, us just sitting there, or like we didn't have any lights, so we was literally sitting in the dark. It was me, my sister, and her boyfriend at the time, and we were sitting in the dark. And I guess we had nothing to do, and he told this joke about what if we didn't have any skin and we were just walking around pink. And so I was like, what? We had no teeth. There was no lights.
But that's random. But
it was so random, and it was like quiet. And he was like, "What if we had no skin?" He was like, "The fuck? What if we got no skin?" And then we elaborated. Then we started talking about, I was like, then when the wind blow, dust will be stuck to you because it's just veins and meat and muscle.
So literally, he was walking around with white meat.
Ow. What be meat? Yeah, so I remember that. So I was like laughing about that, but I also remember in that house, like feeling lonely because my sister wasn't there for very long. She ended up moving back out, and so I had the bedroom in the back. And so whenever they would have people over, or they got loud and they was drinking or doing whatever they was doing, I would close myself in the room. And so I always had toys. I always knew how to like, even if I had a little bit of money, I would go space my money out at the dollar store and buy me some toys, buy me some food from McDonald's, and go shut myself in the room. And just hang out with myself. So Boy Meets World was my TV show.
I mean, so Do you feel like your sisters, you didn't hang out with your sisters as much because of the age gap?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So they was more, especially the oldest. She was more like a mother than she was.
Like that.
And I hate that for first kids. Like the oldest, I hate that for them.
That's so not fair, and I wish parents would stop doing that.
Yeah.
Because it's like they miss out on an entire childhood because you're making them be a parent, and that's not what they signed up for.
Yeah. And I think for my oldest sister, like because there was so much going on in the house, and my mom was like doing her own thing. I think as soon as like she felt like she had to take care of us, and so like she spent all of her life taking care of us. So like feeling like she can't go anywhere or move anywhere because she couldn't leave us by herself.
Man, so my next question was, so why do you think those certain memories came up, and then why did you choose to go visit the old neighborhood?
So what we do know, like, not the social worker, but like what we know about our brains is that like negative stuff sticks in our brain faster than positive stuff. Like we have to train our brain to remember positive things. If we are hurt or trauma or pain, that sticks with us because our body don't want that shit to happen again. And so it was easier for like bad stuff to pop up. That was like the first thing that popped up when I went to each house. And what was the other part of your question?
Why did you choose to go visit the old neighborhood?
I have been wanting to. My husband worked over there.
Okay, husband.
And I don't know. I just felt like I needed to because I hadn't been over there in so long, and so I just went to eat. Like I said, I went to each building. Even remembering like where you stayed, where our other friends stayed, or like my super duper crush while we was in middle school, when like went by his or like just literally went by all of our friends' houses. And so I don't know. It just felt like I needed. I don't know. I feel like this season is like of releasing. Like I think I've been hiding and lying for so long that I need to come out. If that makes sense.
Okay. And
so that I think me traveling to the neighborhood was like the first step, like to actually like have myself remember and like go into these spaces. And at each apartment, talk to the Tanya I was at that space. So like,
I love that.
Yeah, and so like really like Viola Davis, ugly grind. So like sis, we had to lie in this house, but we don't have to no more. Like yes, we felt like we was a burden, we didn't belong, but that's not our truth now. And so like going through each one in each house, the embarrassment, the shame I felt, the guilt I felt, at each apartment.
Oh, so it sounds like you're working on healing your inner child. I love that for you.
Little Tiny, she the one that's holding my foot right now. Because it's like, you get shot like, oh my god.
Like, it's gonna be okay.
Like yesterday.
Okay, so...
Ooh.
So, tell me about how you...
That was her too.
Tell me about how you process triggering memories. You mentioned that you dissociate. Why do you think you do that?
Because my brain wants to take care of me, and if stuff is too painful, it takes me away. Okay. So like, so if I was outside with my mom and they was drinking or doing their thing or whatever, and I didn't want to be there, I used to always imagine. I think that was like the first part of like disassociation, and kids imagine anyway. But I feel like Max is on a different level. Like, I literally used to imagine, like, and I don't know why, but it was always this boy that would come and, like, save me. And maybe that was because I didn't have a daddy, So, like, it was always this dude that would come and save me or protect me from my family or just keep me separate. So I would imagine us, even though my mom and them, we'd be at the park and they would be over there doing their thing, I would imagine, like, we walking by the park or, like, we having a date by the beach and sitting on the rocks and he's saying something nice to me or buying me flowers. So I would like literally imagine that stuff. Like every time we was outside, my brain would take me away. It could be some crazy shit happening. I'll probably be looking in the corner like because I was literally not present.
So like you just escaped to your own world.
Literally.
Wow.
And my imaginary world was bomb.
I mean, I bet it was. Cause, I mean, just hearing about some of the things you had to go through, like. It was like you went to this happy place. it's just one of those things that I was learning in therapy, like safe spaces.
Yeah.
So when you're in those triggering moments.
And it's so crazy because now I can meditate and be like, what would you think of this cartoon? Like, so people like, some people say like they mind a race, or like they'll go, like they have racing thoughts. My brain is very, very animated. So I can look like, some shit be like,
I believe it.
Why, bro?
Because you're animated in real life.
You are. Like, it's like really animated. So like, if I'm talking to clients and I need to explain something, it literally comes out in a cartoon. So like, it's so weird. But they dig it. They been with me.
I mean, that's how you connect.
That's literally what my brain does. It animates it, and I guess it probably just makes it better in my brain.
Okay. Now, if you could go back and change anything about your relationship with your family back then, what would it be and why?
What I would change?
If you could go back in time and change any, like knowing what you know now, if you can go back in time and change anything about your relationship with anyone or just family in general, what would it be, if anything, and why?
Well, my relationship with my family. So this is a hard question. Because as trauma-filled as it is, and this is not like, oh, she saw that in the books and she's saying it from the... I don't think... So my first answer is I don't think I would change anything because I wouldn't be able to do my job. Because I think I want... You know how they say, and I'm going to mess the words up because this is what I do. But like your soul purpose, and so they'll say like before you even born, your soul makes, it's called soul contracts, I believe. But your soul makes contracts with different people that you're interacting with on Earth. And so like having these interactions, and it could be like somebody dog running past me, or somebody saying like good morning, like but it makes an imprint or impression on your life and get you to the place where you're supposed to be as like a full, like your soul purpose. Okay. And so I think for the work that I'm doing now, I think my soul contract with you, with my friends, with my family, I think and you don't want to say this to everybody. So you're like, what? I choose this trauma? Like, you like, that's not nice, because that's self-blaming. But like, that's why I'm gonna change things. Because I think I was supposed to go through all of that, so I could better relate to the people that I'm talking to. Okay. But if there was one thing that I can change about like my family and their relationships, I don't even. And this may not be answering your question, but I would honestly want to change the relationship my family have with themselves individually.
Oh, that's deep.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I think if I was able to change the relationship that they have with themselves, our childhood, my sisters, my cousin, our childhoods would have been different.
Wow. Yeah. That is a new perspective. I didn't go into this with any preconceived notions, but like I just for sure thought you were gonna say I would change this, and that. But hearing you say that and the reasoning behind it, it makes so much sense.
Yeah, they would treat us better.
Yeah.
Once you learn how to love and treat yourself better, you treat other people like that.
Preach, girl. So, what is one of your happiest childhood memories?
I don't know if this is a child, but seeing B2K.
We was in love with B2K. Lil Fizz was her man.
I mean, I did have my autograph from the boy at school. What's his name? I forgot his name. I ain't gonna say his name, boy. The tallest kid in 8th grade while we was in middle school. Tall, light skinned, African-y name.
Oh! I thought about him.
Yeah.
I thought about him. Wow.
Yeah. So he went to a restaurant and they was there, and I think it was the same weekend. Like they was in town that when we had went to that concert at the skating rink. And it was like, oh my God, my friend really loves you. Could you sign this?
You never told me that.
I had it in a frame.
I don't remember. Wow.
Yeah. So that's how I got my autograph
so
with his name. Yeah, like my friend really, really loves you. Could you sign this? And where he got, and I think it was just on like a piece of like napkin, like a piece of notebook paper, and he brought it to school. I almost cried. Oh my god! And so I taped it to one of Lil Fiz's pictures, and then I framed it and put it in my room.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. That was so sweet of him.
It was.
Shouts out to you. You know who you are. That was dope.
That was dope. I love napkin.
Do you still have it?
No, because we got put out of that apartment, so I lost all my stuff. So a lot of stuff that I loved, I lost because we got put out. Yeah, and so it's like, yeah, I had nowhere to go. So all of my posters, I loved music. I always play music. Remember, we left those blue stains.
Oh my god,
we left those blue stains because we was practicing. Y'all always practicing how to juke.
We was. And we
so
left the jean stains on the wall. But no, her room was like think of a Word Up magazine. It was on her wall.
Literally. So yeah.
Yeah, Tiny House was a hangout spot for sure.
Yeah.
I remember that day she invited us all over. It was like
Lord.
a large group of us. She invited us over one day.
I fed y'all.
And she fed us and we was kicking it and we had fun and she ain't never had food after that.
That's not true.
That's not true. But she did lure. She
did.
told me she rolled out like the red carpet to lure us in.
This Leo was not gonna be caught without no friends.
And we've been stuck ever since.
So,
okay. So let's see. So if you could go back in time.